Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays OlliOlli 2. Welcome to Olliwood. We are heading into the pro levels. We're going to start out with Olliwood 1. So, things are getting harder now. Olliwood 1 starts out... My memory is that it starts out around the difficulty of the end of Titan Sky Amateur. Now this is getting into territory that I am much less familiar with, and so I am going to be kind of going through it a little bit more as a discovery, and I have been through this once before, but it's going to be much more of kind of a struggle to get through rather than showing how to get through. I do remember where all of the Roll7 developer locations are. That is something that we will be looking at. And we will be looking at how to get all of these stars. So land 4 360 flips. I think I know what that is, but I want to double check what the motion is. So yeah, it's a half circle backwards. And that's something that I like to do pretty frequently. Finish with only perfect landings, grab all the movie tickets, and finish. So let's see how difficult this is. We have quite a high score that we need to look at. We have some pretty tricky movie tickets for us to get. And that is a mistake. I had to go through the game really carefully and just really try a bunch of different stuff to figure out what was going on there. And what I discovered was that I was inputting a grind switch and letting go of the grind, jumping out of the grind before I had completed the grind switch. And so that was something that took me a very long time to work out. We have some pretty tricky jumps coming up here. I remember struggling to land some of these. Some of them are easier than others. So there's our 1.6 million, just barely. Gnarly, you've completed a pro challenge. Complete all pro challenges to unlock the fiendishly difficult rad mode. So let's see if we can grab all of those movie tickets. I saw that some of them were here. And I'm not sure where, how many there were or where they were. There's another one. I remember this one being really tricky to get over. So we're going to focus on getting this part consistent. And I think probably manuals are the way to do this. Because what that will do is it will give me a little bit more time to prepare my jump. And then here I want to flat land and push. And I did not manage to get that ticket, so we're going to have to try again. So I remember that this particular stack of cones is very tall, and it took me a really long time to figure out how to get it. And it takes longer if you're not consistent with this beginning part, because the beginning part, every time you don't get through the beginning, you have to do the whole thing again. And so really focusing on getting this beginning part consistent is going to make it a lot easier. Now here, I think what I had to do was jump either very early or very late. I remember that there was something, because something that I often do kind of just to make this easier is I will just clip the edge of the collectible instead of going right through it. Now that doesn't seem to be working here, and I'm not really sure what it is, what we can do to get extra height. And so this is the kind of thing that I sometimes will just go through and see if I can figure out what's going on in a video, see where I am and where I'm supposed to be. But we just need to, I think we can just figure it out. Okay, so I managed to get over it, but I missed one of the other tickets. But that has kind of proven to me that it's possible, even if I don't know the exact method for it. Now, of course, I know that everything in this game is possible. I have seen other people have 100%ed this game, and they tweet at Roll7, and then I've seen Roll7 retweet them. And so I know that this... there's one more that I missed. Okay, so we're going to have to do that again. But that's where we get to work on that consistency. I really enjoy kind of working on consistency stuff. It's something that is really easy for me to understand. It's really easy for me to think about. And it's something that I really value. You know, not just being able to land a cool trick once or do a thing once, but to become really consistent is something that I really value and really kind of seek out in games. I used to ring bells a lot. These very, very difficult kind of bell ringing called change ringing that is based on a really interesting mathematics. It's kind of mathematical music played on enormous bells. Like, our heaviest bell, I think, was something like 6,000 pounds, and let's see, it was 600 pounds, and that was considered a very small one. So we have gotten the movie tickets, so now we want to finish with only perfect landings and land 4 360 flips. Whoops, and I menued wrong. So when you're doing this, one of the very common things is you have an odd number of bells, but you want to ring an even number of bells. And so what you do is you have the last bell just ring the same thing over and over, so everybody else is changing when they ring. You have everybody ring in a different order every time they ring. But the last bell you have just going really straight, steady. And that's called a cover. And I really enjoyed it because the main thing that makes a good cover is consistency. So I don't actually know where we're missing the perfect landings. So that's something else we have to pay attention to, because we need to know where we're having difficulty so that we know what to focus on. That was probably not the way to do that. Anytime we have an opportunity to grind, I think we should do it, because that reduces the number of landings we have to do. And so I'm going to try and remember to do that, though doing the tickets has kind of put my instincts a little bit out of alignment. There we go. So that was not a perfect landing. So just like the other all-perfect achievements in the game, it's just a matter of becoming really familiar with the course and really familiar with where you have to wait a little bit longer, where you have to put in a little bit more effort, because there's always longer drops, there's always little places where it's more challenging to land a perfect, because the timings are fairly consistent in a lot of places, and then can have little exceptions. So here we have to wait a little bit longer, and then we have that one, and then we have a long one there, and now we want to get onto the grinds, and we can grind for quite a while here. So that makes things much easier for us, but then that one's quite long, and so we missed that one. So we just do it again. We've proven that we can. And we know that everything here is possible because people have 100%ed this game. And Roll7 are very good developers, and they don't put impossible things in their games because they want to give people an interesting challenge, and an impossible challenge is not interesting. I don't think it is. Maybe you think it is. I don't know. I can't really speak for anyone but myself. So that is one level in Olliwood. And so, why I keep saying, everything in this game is possible, and also keep saying, and now we've proven that it's possible, is because I know intellectually that everything is possible, but I don't feel like I have an intuitive sense of, this is within reach. And so, I try to pay attention to things that make me not just know in the sense of, I know the fact that everything in this game is possible, but really give me that feeling of this challenge right in front of me is something that is possible. So in the next episode, we are going to look at OlliOlli Confidential, and we are going to be seeing how we can get these stars and seeing how we can finish this level. So, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.